What's up, everyone? So this week in our survival class, we discussed how to get to the heartwood and break our trees from bolts of wood like this down into pieces of wood that are actually going to light. We also discussed the fire triangle. So the fire triangle is heat, oxygen, and fuel, but with that, we need to have those three in the right proportions. And the easy example I give of this is if I light a lighter and hold it up to a log like this, I'm not gonna get this log to burn, not because this isn't flammable, but because I don't have enough heat for how much fuel I have. So our solution to that is breaking it down into smaller size pieces of wood. What I do is called the beater stick method or throttle method to get this stuff broken down from what we call bolts of wood. This is a bolt of wood into pencil size pieces. Think of like a number 2 pencil, sounds exactly like it is. And then thumb size pieces that are as big as our thumb, and then our fuel size pieces. So our fuel size pieces is just everything else that'll burn. Once our thumb size pieces are going, we should have stuff that's like the size of our arm or something like that, and that should burn just fine because we have a nice hot coal base. But to get that hot coal base that has enough heat to burn our bigger fuels, we have to get it down into our smaller stuff. In last week's video, we talked about using heartwood for a tinder, which is going to the inside of the tree, what would be on the inside of this, and shaving it down to be able to light. So if you want to see that video on how we get the heartwood out, click on the link above. It's on one of these sides, and that will show you what we did in last week's class. But in this week's class, we actually are opening up the wood to get to that good stuff inside. So I found a dead tree, I cut it down, and what I end up with is a bunch of bolts. I take my bolts and I figure out which ones I'm going to use. When I'm doing this, I'm pretty picky about bolt selection. If I have pieces of wood that have big knots or sticks coming out of them like this, branches, I try to avoid those. I can use those as beater sticks. I can use those as a platform and brace to keep my fire up and off the ground, but these aren't gonna be ideal for trying to split open. So I just do a quick look around. This one only has one tiny stick coming out of it, so this is the one I'm going to go with for now. I'll usually take the bottom of the tree, which was this piece. It's usually the heaviest, and this is what I use for my beater stick. Now I'm gonna get a good platform. If the ground is hard and dry, you don't necessarily need this. I can put the wood straight on the ground, but to follow good principles and not put our wood on the ground and get it wet, we're gonna put it up on a platform. All of the kids this week in class did a great job at this. We had kids as young as 6 handling knives just like this one, and they were able to split this wood open. One caveat I do want to throw out there is if you do take a piece of wood this big and you're struggling to get through it, either A, just pick a smaller diameter piece of wood, or B, you don't have to go right through the middle of these. You can always go off to the side a little bit and cheat your way where you're not dealing with the entire piece. That's gonna be my beater stick. I am gonna go right in the middle of this. So before I start going through this, I want to get the hilt of my blade. That's where I want lined up with the end of the stick. Not in the middle, not at the end, and we'll show you here in just a second why, but right at the base of the blade, okay? Now I'm gonna hold this. When I first start hitting it, I try to hit exactly lined up with the top of my bolts. Just gonna start knocking it, and the knife should pretty much go straight down during this part because I'm hitting straight down on top. Now, and this is why we want to go at the base of the blade, I am going to put even pressure, hard pressure down on my hand, and I need to hit this side. Now, what inevitably happens until you figure out the right pressure is your knife is going to do this. It's because I'm not putting enough downward pressure on the handle. So when my knife does this, there's a couple different ways to fix it. What I found to be the safest one is to just hold your knife and hit the bottom of the bolt, like that. That levels it back out, and now I can go back to hitting the end of this, okay? I'm gonna put hard pressure down on this handle. That shouldn't happen. It might a little bit, but I should be able to keep it even going down. One thing I did notice with a lot of people during this last week in class is they were using a beater stick, but hitting it right at the end, like right next to their hand. I really want to be hitting at the tip of the stick. If I can hit at the tip of my beater stick, I'm going to get a lot more power. Okay, so I don't want to hit way back here. I want to hit over here. I always hold my knife perpendicular to me also, so it's a more natural grip on here, and then I'm hitting straight down. I'm not trying to hold it like this and hit across. This is another common thing I saw some of the kiddos wanting to do. So I'm gonna hold it here, push down, and start working my way down through this until I get a split. Again, following good principles here. Anytime you get split wood, it's now more susceptible to moisture. It doesn't have the protection of the bark. So I'm gonna lay it up on something. When I'm trying to work this down, for any type of bigger piece, I'm just gonna use the beater stick method to get it down into usually at least thumb size pieces. So these pieces are pretty close to thumb size and what I'm looking for. What we do next is what's called the throttle method. So for the throttle method, I'm gonna have the blade facing away from me always, and I'll explain why here in just a second. And then I'm gonna put the tip of the knife about 1 inch from the end of my piece of wood. If I go in the middle, this is just a lot more challenging, so about 1 inch from the tip. Okay, I'm gonna put them on my platform and bring them up together. I only need to come up like 5 or 6 inches. I don't know, maybe a foot. I don't know how many inches that is. I don't need to come up way over my head. I wanna keep an eye on this at all times, okay? One common thing I saw was people stabbing at their piece of wood, which is not what we wanna do. And I saw people coming way up here, they lost sight of it, and then they would come down and miss, okay? That's not what we're doing. We're keeping that knife 1 inch from the end, bringing it up and smashing it down. When that happens, that knife should go through. Sometimes you have to do 6 or 7 stabs or smashes to get it to go through, and that's all right. But once I'm here, I leave my knife down on my working base, and I just start to turn this like I'm throttling a motorcycle. I'm just turning at the wrists, and as I turn, I push my wood into the knife, which is why the blade has to be facing away from us. If I do this and push into it and the blade is facing towards me and it splits quickly, I'm gonna slide my hand and I'm gonna cut my fingers on my blade. So blade is always facing away from you. One really good question I did have is if the only knife that I have available to me has a blade on both sides, what do I do then? You have a couple options. You could dull one side down if you wanted to make it a little bit safer for this technique. You could do the beater stick method for everything. You don't have to do this method, it's personal preference. Or you need to be really safe because you can cut yourself. So I'm gonna put that down. Again, 1 inch from the end here, bring it up together, smash it down, throttle, and I work my way down. So typically, like I said, I'll use my beater stick method to get my thumb size stuff, and then my throttle method, and now I have my nice pencil size pieces. Typically for a fire, I'm looking for like 1 handful that I can wrap my fingers around of each size, and that tends to be enough to get my fire lit, but I would always rather have a little bit more and not need it than not have enough and do all this work and then have my fire go out because I didn't get a hot enough coal base. So while you guys are doing this, especially if you are a kiddo, make sure you have a parent available that is supervising you with the big knives. If you're not having a parent supervise you or you don't need one to, just be really careful with these. I have seen people stab themselves from missing. I've seen people miss their board completely and drive their knives into the ground. I see a lot of people with the blades facing towards them. They get so focused on what they're doing that they don't do that. I always recommend getting a good pair of leather gloves too. These are my favorite pair. I had another pair of these for 12 years and I went out and bought the same pair. I'll actually link these in the video description if you want to go get them. They're Petzl. I absolutely love these gloves. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for checking it out. If you have any comments or questions, put it in the comments. Would love to hear it. If you have a different way of breaking up your prep to get ready for a fire, let me know also. Keep in mind when we're talking about doing this, we are talking about lighting with a natural tinder. So we're not using like gasoline or anything. We want to be able to light with everything that we can find in nature. So we really want to make sure we're getting good prep. But thank you so much for checking it out, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good one. See ya. Is super important, almost as important as coffee.